Hello friends. In our last class, that means our part 1 class, we have studied some topics based on the charges, which are very important for our electrostatic topic, right? What are the things you have learned in our first topic? Yes, you have to remember that thing. What are the things? Some basic properties of charges. What are those basic properties? That means charge is an intrinsic property. If there is a mass, then only we can say there is a charge. Without mass, there is no charge. If mass is there, then charge is there. We can't separate charge and mass. Okay? If charge is there, then mass is there, like that. Then conservation of charges. Charges are always constant. Okay? Then what was the third one? Yes. Third one was, what are the methods? What are the different methods to charge an object? Charging by induction, charging by conduction, charging by friction. All these steps we have learned in the part 1. Okay. Today, in our part 2, we are going to study a very important topic we call it as electric field. This one is very, very important, and I am sure that it will be asking for you in your exam also. This topic is very, very important, so you have to give extra care and you have to be very careful. Okay, concentrate. What do you mean by electric field? What do you mean by electric field? Let's talk about magnet. You may all know about magnets, right? Okay? Let me take 2 magnets. These are 2 magnets. Let's assume that these are 2 magnets. What happens when we brought these 2 magnets together? Sometimes it may attract, sometimes it may repel with respect to the poles. Okay? If someone asks you what is magnetic field, what will you say? If someone asks you, a small child asks you that, what do you mean by magnetic field? How will you answer that question? You will say, magnetic field means it's a property which provided by a magnet. Magnetic field is the property which is provided by a magnet, right? This will be the answer. Most probable answer will be like that. Then the child again asks you, where is that magnetic field? I can't see that. I didn't smell it. Where is that magnetic field? If a child asks you, what will you say? Don't scold that child. വഴക്ക് പറയുന്നതല്ലേ ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്. കുഞ്ഞ് ചോദിച്ചപ്പോൾ കുഞ്ഞിന് ഉത്തരമാണ് കൊടുക്കേണ്ടത്. മനസ്സിലായോ? നമ്മളെങ്ങനെയെങ്കിലുമൊക്കെ ആ ഒരു ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റിംഗ് ആയിട്ട് പഠിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി പറയുന്നതേ ഉള്ളൂ. കേൾക്കാം. ഓക്കെ? Then the child asks you, where is that magnetic field? How will you answer that question? You will say, bring a pin, some piece of iron, ഒരു സ്ലൈഡോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു മുട്ടുസൂചിയോ എന്തെങ്കിലും കൊണ്ടുവരാൻ പറ. ഓക്കെ? Then the child bring that one and you take the magnet. മാഗ്നറ്റ് കൈ വെച്ചു, പിൻ എടുത്തു വെച്ചു, and showed the child that when you brought this magnet near to it, it starts to attract. ആ മാഗ്നറ്റ് അടുത്തോട്ട് കൊണ്ടുവന്നപ്പോൾ what happens? The needle starts to attract. That means you told the child that, yes, you told the child, consider this as our magnet. This is our magnet. This is our needle. This is our needle. When we brought this magnet near to the needle, what happens? It starts to show some force of attraction. That means at what point it shows a force of attraction, those points there are magnetic field. Magnetic field we can't see, but we can feel it by the force. Okay? That means it's a space around this magnet in which a force is experienced by this needle, right? It's a space around the magnet. Space around means we have to give the condition also in which the needle experiences a force, not the entire space, only space in which the needle experiences a force. We can say there is a magnetic field, right? In the same way, you can answer the question for electric field also. If somebody asks you what is electric field, you can say the answer like, if there is a charge, saying this is a charge. Yes, I am not conscious about whether it is an electron or proton. I am just saying it's a charge. And I want to answer the question that what do you mean by electric field? How I answer? How will I answer this question? I will say that it is a space around this charge. It is a space around this charge in which I have to test where is that electric field. So that I have to put one test charge. I have to test where the electric field is. When I brought this test charge near to this charge, when I brought this test charge near to this charge, when I feel a force, those places it produces, those places there is an electric field. ഈ ടെസ്റ്റ് ചാർജിനെ ചാർജിനടുത്തോട്ട് കൊണ്ടുവന്നപ്പോൾ ഏത് ഭാഗത്താണോ എന്ത് ഫീൽഡ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഫോഴ്സ് എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ചെയ്ത് ആ ഭാഗത്ത് എന്തുണ്ടെന്ന് പറയാം, there is an electric field. Like that, when we brought this test charge towards this charge, when we feel a force feel either at those places, we can say there is electric field. That means, how will you say the definition for electric field? What is the definition for electric field? Yes, you can give a beautiful definition for electric field. Electric field is the space around a charge in which a test charge experiences a force. You can write this definition in your notebook. What is the definition? But this is a very important topic. Part 1 covers the basic introduction, and part 2 in this these are the topics which are very important for your exams. So you have to be more concentrated in this topic. What is electric field? It is the space around a charge in which a test charge experiences a force. Okay, clear? Okay. Now you are clear with the idea of electric field. Okay, then now we have to write an equation based on this electric field. We have to write an equation based on this electric field. How will you write that equation? What is electric field? Electric field is the which is the force experienced by a test charge. Electric field is the force experienced by a test charge. Okay, that means, how will you write in a mathematical form? You can write it like force per charge. Okay, now you got the equation. What is electric field? Electric field is represented as, electric field is the force per unit charge. Force per unit. What will be the unit for that? Force, we are having the SI unit Newton. Charge, we know the unit Coulomb. That means Newton per Coulomb. This is SI unit of electric field. Now we got the definition. What do you mean by electric field? It is the space around a charge in which a test charge experiences a force. Okay, now we know the basic equation, which is E is equal to F by Q, force per charge. That means, what is the unit? Newton per Coulomb. Okay, understand? Okay, very good. Now we will learn another topic. These are the main topics. We have to learn so much thing about this electric field. That will come later. That means, we have to find the electric field due to a point charge. What happens to two charges? What is the electric field due to two charges? What is the electric field due to three charges? What is the electric field due to four charges? And so on. System of charges. That we will learn in part 3, part 4, etc. Today, in the part 2, next section comes with Coulomb's law. It's a very basic law. Like in your class 11, you may have studied gravitation, right? In a gravitation, you may have studied universal law of gravitation. Universal law of gravitation, it says that yes, all matters in this universe attracts each other. This force of attraction is directly proportional to product of the masses and inversely proportional to square of the distance between them, right? Okay, then in the same way, consider two charges, Q and another charge Q. I'm not saying whether it is a positive charge or negative charge. I'm just saying that these are two charges, Q and Q. Okay, what happens when this charge is plus and this charge is plus? They will start to repel. What happens if it is negative charge? They start to attract. That means I'm sure that if there are two charges, there will be a force of attraction or force of repulsion, right? Force like that. This is a positive charge, this is a negative charge. When we brought together, it will attract. Okay, that means there is a force of attraction or force of repulsion between these two charges. What is that force of attraction? What are the things that depends on that force of attraction? That means when I increased another charge Q, this is a positive charge, this is another positive charge, this is a negative charge, another negative charge is there. I am increasing the positive charges. What happens? And I am increasing the negative. The force of attraction becomes larger and larger, right? Why? I am increasing the number of charges. That means the force of attraction or force of repulsion, it is directly proportional to the product of charge. That means when we are increasing the number of charges, what happens? Yes, this force of attraction or force of repulsion increases, right? That force of attraction is directly proportional to this force of attraction, or it can be force of repulsion. Here it is force of attraction. If you are considering all the positive charges itself, then what happens? Force of repulsion. Okay, that means the force of attraction or force of repulsion is directly proportional to what? The product of charges. Product of charges means I am considering if only two charges. If I am considering only two charges, like two charges Q1 and another charge Q2, which are separated by a distance r. Let's consider like this. There will be force of attraction or it can be force of repulsion, right? This force of attraction or repulsion is directly proportional to what? The product of charges, that is Q1, Q2. Product means Q1 into Q2, that is Q1, Q2. One thing we learned that the force of attraction or repulsion is directly proportional to what? Product of the charges. And also another thing, it depends. That means the distance. That means when we having these two charges, positive and negative charges, there will be a force of attraction. Here there is a force of attraction. I consider it as F1. When I separate it a little more, what will be the force? Whether it will be the same? No. It may have decreased because I am increasing the distance. If I further increase the distance, what happens? Yes, of course, the force of attraction or repulsion will be lesser than that, the previous, right? That means when we increase the distance between the charges, force of attraction or repulsion becomes smaller and smaller. That means it is inversely proportional to the square of the distance. That means the second thing we got, that the force of attraction or repulsion between these two charges is inversely proportional. That means 1 by r squared. 1 by r squared direct. This symbol represents directly proportional. I'm writing it like directly proportional to 1 by r square. 1 by r square means this gives you the idea that inversely proportional to square of the distance, right? Okay. That means these are the two main things which depends on the force of attraction. Together we can write it like force of attraction is directly proportional to first product of the charges and second square of the distance between them. Okay, that means we know that now we know that the force of attraction is directly proportional to product of the charges and inversely proportional to square of the distance between them, right? Yes, we have to get back the proportionality sign. Make out. Okay, for that, instead of the proportionality, when we are equating, we have to put a proportionality constant. Here we are giving the proportionality constant k, a constant k times q1 q2 by r square. What is that proportionality constant? This is very important. This proportionality constant you will be seeing this. You will see in the class tool. This will be k is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0. This is epsilon. It's a constant. When we put epsilon s0, epsilon naught or epsilon 0. Epsilon 0 means it's what is this constant is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0, right? And the epsilon is a constant, and epsilon 0 means the permeability of free space. How much the charges are permitted in the free space. This is epsilon 0. When we are giving another medium, here we have to use some epsilon r or something like that. Depends on the permittivity of the medium. Okay, this is our basic constant 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0. That means what will be the equation? Final equation will be like f is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q1 q2 by r square. This is our Coulomb's law. What is Coulomb's law? Definition, and we need equation also. This is also very important in your examination. What is Coulomb's law? Coulomb's law states that Coulomb's law states that the force of attraction or repulsion between two charges is directly proportional to product of charges and inversely proportional to square of the distance. Force of attraction or repulsion between two charges is directly proportional to product of charges and inversely proportional to square of the distance between them, right? We put a proportionality constant k is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0. What is epsilon? Epsilon is a constant. Epsilon naught, we are putting it as epsilon is this one, and epsilon naught means the permittivity in free space. When we are considering another medium, we have to put some other epsilon r. Always we are taking epsilon 0. That means we are considering only the free space. That means our equation become 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q1 q2 by r square. We are having a value for this one, for this constant 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0. 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0, we are having the value 9 into 10 raised to 9. You have to learn this. You have to memorize this, because in your problem, if you have to improve the problem solving skills, you have to memorize this one, 9 into 10 raised to 9. From that also you can find out this epsilon naught value. You having 1 by 4 pi, right? Using that you can find, it will be like around 8.85 into 10 raised to minus 12, something like that. Okay, is it epsilon 0 is not unitless? Even though I am saying it is a constant, there is a unit for that. In our previous 2018 entrance exam also, they have asked the unit of epsilon 0. I am giving it as an assignment. I will give the answer in the part 3. That means from it, here also you can find that 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0. From this equation itself you can find the unit for that. Epsilon 0, you have to put other things, other terms in the left side, and you can take the unit for that. Force unit Newton, charges Coulomb, distance meter. Using that you can find epsilon 0. So this is your first homework. What is the unit of epsilon 0? You have to find the unit of epsilon 0. Okay friends, today in our part 2 we have learned two important topics. What are those important topics? Electric field as well as electric field as well as Coulomb's law. What are the two topics we have learned? Electric field as well as magnetic field. Electric field as well as Coulomb's law. What was the definition for electric field? If a small child, ഒരു കുട്ടി ചോദിച്ചാൽ എന്ത് പറയും? കുട്ടി ചോദിച്ചാൽ എക്സാമിനാണ് ചോദിക്കുന്നത്, എന്നാലും നമ്മളിന്ന് പഠിക്കാം. Okay, if somebody asks you what is electric field, how will you say? Yes, it is the space around a charge in which a test charge experiences a force. What is the basic equation? E is equal to F by Q. Okay, then we learned Coulomb's law. What was the Coulomb's law? Yes, Coulomb's law states that the force of attraction or repulsion between two charges is directly proportional to product of charges and inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. We are having the equation C is equal to F by Q, electric field, and Coulomb's law F equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q1 Q2 by R square. Okay students, in this part 1 and part 2 you may have studied some basic properties of charges. What are charges? Protons, electrons and neutrons are the charges which are present inside an atom. Electrons are having negative charge, protons are having positive charge, and there are some basic properties of these charges. The value of charge is 1.6 in 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb, that you have to memorize. If you put a positive sign, it will become proton, and negative sign, it will become a negative, that means electron. What are the basic properties of charges? Yes, same charges repulse, and unlike charges attract. Okay, and another properties, main properties like quantization of charges. That means charges you can write it as Q is equal to plus or minus NE. N will be integers 1, 2, 3, etc. Right? You can't write it like half, 1 by 3, 1 by 4 like that. You have to be careful with that. Okay. Then conservation of charges. Charges are always constant. Then what are the methods of charging an object? Charging by conduction, charging by induction, charging by friction. These are the things you have to learn. Okay. Then comes with the important topic, that is electric field. Today we have learned that electric field is the space around a charge in which a test charge experiences a force. That is, equation is E is equal to F by Q. What is the unit for that? S, Newton per Coulomb. What is the equation? What is this equation? This is the equation which represents the Coulomb's law. That means the force of attraction or repulsion between two charges. It can be either force of attraction or it can be force of repulsion. Whatever it may be, you can write it by this equation. A force F is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q1 Q2 by R square. Right? This is all the magnitude. In the third part we will learn in the vector form also. I am again telling you that this topic you have to be extra careful, because you have to learn the fundamentals first with an interest. You have to build some interest in this topic, then only you can move further. You can learn interestingly, you can make interest, and if you work hard on this topic, this will be very, very easy for you people. Okay. Okay, it's time to over the part 2. Thank you for hearing this part 2. If you're having any suggestions or something, like if you don't understand some topics or something like that, you can comment. Okay, thank you.